I didn't. All right. We'll ask Brother Paul Briscoe from Lockport Baptist Church to say the blessing on our meeting tonight. Thank you for coming.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we love you. We thank you for this opportunity to gather on a beautiful day that you have given us. And Lord, I pray for your blessings upon this meeting tonight. Lord, I have either lived or been associated with this county my entire life. And Lord, I love this county. I love the people of this county. And I just pray your blessings upon them. Be with the men and women tonight who are making decisions. I pray that you give them leadership, give them guidance, and just lay your hand on this meeting. We ask for all this in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. All the magistrates is here, but Ed, and I think he's in Scotland or Ireland or somewhere abroad. Can I get approval for the minutes from the July 18th meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Danny.
Second.
Second by Kevin. All in favor? All right, motion carries. New business, roads. Kenny, here's Kenny. Yes, sir.
We're starting to slow down the break holiday now. We're going to drop down from 3 tractors to 2. We're going to start preparing to get ready to start blacktopping on some of these roads for the companies, and just everyday maintenance, trying to keep everything going. And right now, everything's running fine, and everything's looking good right now. So, pretty much.
Any questions for Kenny? Okay, committee report, Brad. I know y'all met yesterday evening.
Yes, we did. We discussed starting the ditch roads 1st September. We met with Scott and I met with Danny Clark on renting a machine to do that with. Possibly getting Doug Hicks to operate it for a while and train somebody to do that part. We gotta go out there and lay the building out for the hoop barn. Sometime I think me and the masters, Danny and Kevin and you need to go out there and get it set where we want it. I haven't heard anything on the New Cut Road yet, or the slip on Cane Run. Kenny said he hadn't heard anything. We're gonna have to, definitely the Cane Run slip, we're gonna have to do something pretty quick because it keeps getting wider. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you. We did advertise for the hoop building for our salt and cinder bin, and the bid come in. It's two different contractors, but the concrete work and the hoop building itself, the total on it is $43,830. So we have that in the budget. So if we can get a motion to accept that bid, motion.
Second.
Motion by Brad, second by Carl. All in favor? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, planning and zoning, Jason.
We had 21 electrical permits, 30 building permits. Our next Board of Adjustment meeting will be August the 28th. And we don't have anything for planning and zoning this month. We're at 7 o'clock.
Okay, any questions for Jason? All right, thank you. And we do have the second reading for the solid waste ordinance. The only thing I have to read is just the what we're changing, which was changing the amount on raising it to $1,000 for anybody that gets free garbage pickup. If the household only can. They got to verify that they have an income of less than $1,000. So I'll read that. Section 3, and the fee service. Those residential customers verifying income of less than $1,000 per month will be eligible for free service. Tri-County Community Action Agency will verify income, and the Henry County Fiscal Court shall pay for these monthly fee to the franchise through franchise fees received. So that's the only change in that ordinance, but we do need a motion for that change.
I'll make a motion to make the change.
All right,
I'll second.
motion by Danny, second by Kevin. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Parks and Fairgrounds, Toby?
One of our things is our splash pad. I think we finally have it under control. Got a new diaphragm type valve on it, and it's been holding its own since it's went down. Biggest thing to the parks is blacktop between Field 1 and Field 2 at Harry Hill, and they are breaking ground for the new baseball park.
All right, any questions for Toby? Thank you, Toby. Remember, we do have trailer, one more thing, if you see dirt work here below the 4-H building, that is where they're going to be digging and taking some of that clay to the ball field across the road. So that's what the dirt work is, if you have questions about that. Bones was worried about that, so we got, just so he knew what was going on, everything's good. But they skim topsoil off, and then they'll cut it down, and they're gonna, I just talked to Jason Clinton, they're gonna go out the lower gate down here, so they won't be coming across the parking lot with the dirt. And so at least we're seeing activity, and they're really moving dirt, so it's going good. And then remember the trail or treat, the date is October the 20th from 5 to 7, and the rain out date is October the 27th from 5 to 7, so hopefully we can have that on the 20th. All right, Animal Services, Dan?
No, we didn't. Still busy as normal. We're still doing our adoption events between Oldham County, Henry County, Trimble County, Carroll County. We're going to several different locations. We're having some pretty good luck. But I mean, we can get 4 or 5 out, and we can get 5 or 6 back in. So I've been hitting Stonehurst Trail Park pretty good. We want to get lots of planes out there, and we've pulled several bells out there in the past few weeks. I've talked to several owners. I want to thank Cassidy. Thank you for helping me with these cases that we're working on. Greatly appreciate the input. And anytime I go into her office, she's always there and willing to give me advice and put me in the right direction, which I appreciate. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Dan?
How's the phone working?
The phone? It works good. We've talked to about getting the new signs, new numbers for the signs, because the signs on the buildings and the trailer and all that have the old numbers. So we have a plan and action that's going to get all that replaced. We changed all that to Miss Denise on the websites. Trimble County's replaced all theirs on their website, so we've been getting calls in. So it's going pretty good. It's amazing when you put a button on your computer and it actually gets to a website.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Committee report, Roger?
We didn't meet, so no report.
All righty. Okay, Economic Development Committee.
Really not a whole lot, we had the meeting this evening, got some guest speakers. Economic development for the county is just moving forward with land. Eminence is doing good. They sold the LaRoche property over there and another piece of property for economic development. But the public's welcome to the economic development meeting. Prior to this meeting, and today we had Rob Rossenberger and another guest to speak about Shelby County's successes and see if we can get some coming this way.
All right. I will say there is a lot of different things happening in the county. Fred eminence mayor, I thought he was here. Is he gone? Him and myself met with the Industrial Foundation in Shelby County Thursday, and we got another meeting. It's not scheduled yet, but we're going to have another meeting. We're going to get together with the utility companies and all that, trying to, I did talk to Jack Bragg from Shelby Energy Monday, and he's getting some of his economic development people together, and we're trying to get things done and try to make sure we do it in the right way. And we do want to see growth in this county. We just don't want to just scatter it. We need it, make sure it's controlled growth and what the community wants. So we are working on that. All right, fiscal court annual settlement. Everybody got this packet, and this is just the annual settlement from Amanda, and so this is just for everybody's to look at. And I will say, Amanda, she told me last time, she wrote on my paper here that she's a rock star, but she is really, she takes this job serious. And you can ask Travis, we have to put up with her sometime when it's not going good, but I just want to say that she does take this treasurer's position very serious and does a good job for the county. And I think when we get to the audits, we're still on, let's see, they're auditing 2020 now, and so that is right, isn't it?
They're auditing 21. We just had our meeting on 20.
Yeah, so they're so far behind on the audits that we're going to be in this a year before they even get to close to auditing what we have. So hopefully I think we're doing it well, and the auditors is good for us to talk to. They explain to us what they want, and we have changed over to the software. They have. I hadn't changed anything on that, but they've got the software working, which when you look at your claims and transfers, you'll see that it's different, but it's very detailed. And so I really think that the county is going good, so we're glad to get that out of the way. All right, sheriff's report.
We responded to 293 calls for KSP dispatch, 123 calls coming to the sheriff's office for response, 41 citation and criminal summons, 27 criminal arrests, 16 warrant arrests, 87 court papers served, transported 2 juveniles, transported 1 MIW, had 49 vehicle inspections, and 16 carry concealed license.
All right, any questions for Keith?
Yeah.
I will tell you that Keith has worked with Enterprise and gone into agreement. I did sign that agreement for them. So you get new vehicles ordered?
Yeah, they're talking probably delivered to Lance and them up in Lawrenceburg for upfit by the end of the week. So quicker than I expected.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's good. All right, we're glad to see the folks from District 5 here tonight to give their presentation. I think Tom Hall is going to be the one that's going to be giving the presentation of what they're going to do for their rural secondary program.
All right, well, thanks, Judge Bates, and thanks, Stuart, for having us. I think I should introduce everybody that's with us.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Good. We got Matt Bullock here. He's our Chief District Engineer with District 5. We got Larry Cheney. He works with me in the planning section. We have Scott Tipton, and he's our branch manager for maintenance and construction over Henry County. And you have Hamdi Alfara, and he's more of our section engineer, more closely operating in the construction and maintenance area in Henry County. And the purpose of our visit this year is to talk about our rural secondary paving program. And rural secondary roads are just one system of roads that we maintain in the state. Rural secondary roads are those roads that are like farm to market type roads. They're not interstates or big roads. Part of the delivering the paving program is to make sure that we have a good communication with the local governments and make sure that when we do pick the roads to pave, we're picking the right ones. And what I like to do when I start the discussion is to kind of tell you what we did last year and where that's at. And last year we resurfaced Drennan Road, 6.3 miles of Drennan Road. There was a little section in the middle we didn't pave, but that was awarded and constructed and open to traffic. And one of the things I would mention about that is folks have probably heard about construction costs being a lot higher than they were in previous years. Our initial estimate for this project when we came to talk about it last year was like $432,000. And as it was awarded, it went out at $602,000. So costs are definitely up, and it's worth letting everybody know that we kind of are doing less sometime with the same amount of money. Okay, so this year though, I like to talk about what we're planning to do and how much money we start with, and then how it gets kind of peeled off into different little areas. And so I'll begin with that. And I mentioned that the paving was a little expensive last year, and so we kind of came in with a deficit of $30,685 just to start this year. But the allotment for Henry County roads was $990,237. So ultimately, that gives us $959,552 to start to use. But that's the big budget for the whole program. And before we can get to what specific roads we'll pave, there's a few things that we peel off the top. And the first thing is routine maintenance and traffic. That's patching potholes and snow and ice work and the regular maintenance our guys do. We pay for that off the top, and this covers 144 miles of roadway. And the cost of that is $594,100. And that leaves a balance available of $365,452. And then there's another thing that comes off that can come off of our funds that we use to pave RS roads, and that's called county flex funds. And about 10 years ago, the program got a new nuance, and the new nuance is that we can carve off a piece of these funds and let county governments use that to pay for their local roads, certain local roads. And our communications with the county, Henry County, is that you guys want to use flex funds for local roads, and the amount is $148,536. And so we peel that off, and that leaves us $216,916 to go out and pave roads with. I will mention there's another unique thing happened, which is I've been doing this program for quite a while. But something that is unique is that we have always had a county judge expense where we make a payment to the county judge for helping coordinating the program. And that's been discontinued for new county judges.
You left me out.
Well, open and honest. For like if you were a judge that was continuing on, I guess until a new judge is elected, then they still get a portion of that money. And it's not like $1 million. It was about $3,800, something like that. So it's not a huge sum of money, but I imagine it matters. There's no expense going to the judge this year. So that leaves us $216,916, like I said, to pave roads. The road that we are proposing to resurface is Franklinton Road. This is Kentucky 1360 from Bullet Hill Road to Kentucky 202 Drennan Road. And this is about 3 miles of paving, 3.089 miles of paving. And our cost estimate for that is $205,847. So at least, yeah, let's just pretend that that's what it costs to pave it. We'll carry over $11,000 into the next year. So, and that really is only one road we would plan to resurface, and that is the road we would like to get the court's concurrence on. And there's, assuming you guys agree that it's okay that we carry on and pave that road, we ask for concurrence in one of two ways. You can do a court resolution, and we can take that away fairly immediately and use that as proof of concurrence and then get it in our paving program quickly. You can also put it in the minutes of your meeting, and then we wait until the next meeting, and when those are approved, and then we use that as evidence of local concurrence. So we can do it either way. And I guess at this point, it's, you got any questions for me on that?
Do you know anything about the 146 project and how it's coming along?
Yeah, some. I can tell you some, but you have specific questions?
No, I just want to get an update.
I would say
Mike?
Hamdi and Scott might have better details about where we're at percentage-wise with the construction. There's a lot of earth and there's a lot of structures lined up to go in place, but that's a big project.
Yeah, we're currently we're doing our bridge widening that we phase one. Started our roadway excavation and water line relocation. Going on daily. Moving a lot of earth and doing pipe work and doing blasting about every other day. So it's going along. There hasn't been too many issues that have popped up.
Seems like it's going pretty fast for a lot of the road projects I've been around. It seems to be moving good, as much dirt as they're moving.
Yeah, they're moving a lot, and
Yeah.
when you get that dynamite going, they can move a lot too. They can move a lot really fast also.
Any other questions for Tom, or?
What about the roads like 561 and 573? I mean, they're nothing but potholes. I mean, you have to drive the center of the road to even keep from beating your car to death. There's a section between 421 and 573 on 561 that my wife's scared to death to go to drive through. I mean, there's no guardrail left. They just finished fixing it where it's not sliding off the bank anymore, but there's still no guardrail up there or anything, and it's still really rough. So.
Isn't that gonna be repaired?
Yeah, we just we'd like to let that one settle for a little bit. I know they just went through there and put another skim coat over top of it in the last couple of weeks.
573 between 561 and Happy Ridge Road hasn't been paved in a long time,
Yeah.
and it's real bad shape.
Yeah, we went through that the other day too. Well, we can look at that. I mean, that could be on the list for next year. We're gonna have so much. 216,000. You know, it costs right around $65,000 to pave them off, 2-lane road. So, but that'll. I think that we were down that section the other day, and that will probably be on our radar here in the future.
Carl and Brad, even on there, could tell you they're pretty bad shape.
You know, one lady at the dentist office tells me she goes like 35, 40 mile an hour, and traction control comes on her vehicle where it's so rough in that one area.
Yeah.
This is totally unrelated, but do you have any limitations with regard to weather in terms of taking this project on?
There's rain days occasionally, but I think resurfacing goes pretty quickly. You guys are probably keeping that better than me. Is the weather gonna delay our resurfacing of the 2016?
No, I mean, that project won't have a completion date until June 30th of next year.
Okay.
So, yeah, usually when our end of our fiscal year is June 30th, so we like to have these projects done by the end
Okay, so we need a motion to, pass this, and I will say, I don't have that form that he's talking about ready tonight for us to sign, so if I could get that done tomorrow, if we can put that in the motion, then we'll get that done tomorrow and get to you, would that work?
Sure.
Because, really, I forgot about that part of it, and, so we don't have that form ready to fill out.
We can take it either way. You can, like I say, you can. put it
Well,
to
you
amend-
probably don't wanna wait until the next meeting, though. If we make it in the motion, can't we just go ahead and make it work?
Resolution.
As a
Yeah, we'll make it
resolution,
for
we can sign that, and that way it'll be, ready for you.
I'll
So,
make a motion.
okay, a motion by Brad. Danny, second, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Danny. All right, all in favor? Okay, we'll get that took care of then, and we appreciate you all coming. And, maybe one more thing, we might, do just a little bit of bridge update on Sunnyside Road, just so the public knows that is gonna be closed down, I think for like till sometime in October.
Up to 60 days.
Louisville Paving's doing the work.
I guess that starts tomorrow.
Yep, we close tomorrow.
It's superstructure only, meaning it's the top is not coming all out. That's why we think maybe they could get done early. We're not promising anybody anything. It's up to 60 days. That was actually, bids were opened in May on that, and they got their award, notice to proceed in early June. So we've been kind of sitting on it a little bit, but, November 30th, I guess, is the, completion. It's gotta be totally done. But after that 60 days is up, it's gonna be new and open, and there won't be any other.
Yes, well, and one thing, Louisville Paving, they usually get it done pretty good on, as far as
Getting
time.
started. Once they get in there, they'll get it done.
Yes,
They'll start.
yes, that's what I've found is, once they start, they'll get it done, so hopefully they'll get that done pretty quick. And that's down by, for people, the locals, it'd be down by Rod and Gun Club or down by Joe Barmore's where Jackson Creek crosses over. That's the bridge we're talking about between, Jackson Road and Smithfield, not on this side of, Jackson Road, so.
I got a couple questions for him. I got a couple questions for him on 561, the gentleman was talking about, and 573, is there any way y'all can go fix the rough spots?
Yeah,
I know you can't pave the whole thing, but
We'll talk to maybe 4 minutes.
those 561 where he's talking about, it's dangerous.
And I think, Woods Pikey is getting where it's
Woods Pike's
pretty.
got some bad spots you need,
Mhm.
you know, if you could fix them until you can, till we can blacktop it or the complete thing. I mean, get a lot of complaints through there.
That's Brad's district,
I
he's
can go-
suffering.
I can go on and on too, if you wanna talk about 389, it's on the list though, right?
Yes, we got 389 on
Yeah.
the big
Five-year
list,
plan.
yeah.
Yeah, but,
Once I hear, I need to see that.
you go, but
Nothing.
your staff, but you probably wrecked.
All right. Thank you, Tom, and all you guys. We appreciate you coming. You can stay or you can leave, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Thank you all. All right, next we got the reapportionment.
Okay, hey, District 5.
Don't leave you.
Okay, I'm Shana Arch, I'm the county clerk here. And you guys are gonna be in the big city, Franklinton, where I live. We are having an increasing Amish population here. I know the state, federal, everybody's on the verge of getting, what are we gonna do for electric cars? What are we gonna, like, how are we gonna find the money to fund these projects? Okay, in
Thank you all.
There's a la. Sorry.
All right.
2 cents then.
Shanda's over a tangent now, so we're gonna move on.
Good. All right, Jacob, where are you, Wade? Okay, we are here today to have our second reading on our redistricting of our magisterial districts. We met again, had a chance to make a couple of changes that did not affect not one soul moving districts. Miss Cassidy Dees has worked her fingers off getting this done today, and a description of all of our roads, and you have to give all of your districts via, let's just say, starting a junction of Highway 22, following boundary of blah, 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 blah. And there are 6 districts to outline and map out via words, so that was no small task. That information is in your packets, plus the fresh new map of the magisterial districts. So if you want to take a second and look at those, and we have to agree that it's for the best interest of everyone.
Dan, if your table needs it blown up.
Cassidy thinks that we should read that description
It's of each district.
Okay.
of each one. So I told her since she thought that, maybe she could just read it.
I got a great idea. Let's have each magistrate read their own district. That's a great idea.
Because it is a lot of,
It's a lot of reading. Sorry, people. Apologize first.
So this is an ordinance relating to the reapportionment of the magisterial districts in Henry County, whereas Kentucky Revised Statute 67.0045 required that Henry County be reapportioned so as to make its magisterial districts as compact and contiguous as possible to the population of each district as nearly as equal as possible. Whereas complying with said statute, reapportionment commission was duly appointed, and that said commission met after required public notification, and commissioners reported their recommendations to the Henry County Fiscal Court on July 18th, 2023 for its first reading. And the Henry County Fiscal Court met in regular session for its second reading on August 15th, 2023. Whereas the Henry County Fiscal Court on that date adopted the said recommendations and report. Be it ordained that the Fiscal Court of the County of Henry County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, as follows. Section 1. Henry County Fiscal Court shall be composed of 6 magisterial districts numbered 1 through 6. Section 2. Magisterial District number 1 shall consist of the following. Starting at a junction of Highway 22 Ballardsville Road and Highway 1861 Smithfield Road, the boundary follows Highway 1861 east to the city limit of the city of Smithfield, thence north following the city limit of Smithfield, thence northeast and continuing around the city limits of Highway 1861 Sunnyside Road, continuing northeast on Highway 1861 and the intersection of the Little Kentucky River, following southeast for approximately 4,410 feet, then continuing north for approximately 610 feet, thence northeast for approximately 8,600 feet to the intersect Jackson Road approximately 300 feet north of the intersection with Sand Springs Road, following south on Highway 3323 Jackson Road and continuing east to the intersection with the City of Eminence boundary, continuing along the Eminence City boundary until the intersection North Main Street, continuing south to the intersection with Elm Street and following to the junction with the City Eminence boundary, continuing along the city boundary line until the junction with Mulberry Pike, then following Mulberry Pike northwest to the intersection with South Main Street, following this road south to the Henry Shelby county line, continuing west-north and north, following the county boundary and turning northwest onto Highway 22 Ballardsville Road where the county boundary intersects Highway 22 Ballardsville Road, approximately 1,900 feet from the junction, Highway 1861, then following Highway 22 back to the beginning of the junction of Highway 22 and Highway 1861. Section 3, Magisterial District number 2 shall consist of the following. Starting at the county boundary at Brownsboro Road, Highway 42, northeast of the intersection of Kentucky 153, Pendleton Road, then south to Wooded Hill Road, east on Wooded Hill to Little Kentucky River, then intersection of the CSX Railroad, thence following CSX Railroad to PC Lane, then PC Lane north along Eddy Road to Kentucky 1606 Fallen Timber Road, thence following Fallen Timber Road southeast to the southbound lanes of I-71. Thence allow the southbound lanes of I-71 to the intersection of the Little Kentucky River. Thence following Little Kentucky River southeast Kentucky 146 LaGrange Road, thence following Highway 146 west to Kentucky 153 Lake Jericho Road, and follow south on Kentucky 153 approximately 8,500 feet, then leaving Kentucky 153 and turning east towards Lake Jericho Road, then south along Lake Jericho's western bank to the intersection of Bates Lane, then east following south Bates Lane to the intersection of Hyatt Lane, thence following northeast along Hyatt Lane to Jackson Creek, following Jackson Creek southeasterly to the intersection of Jackson Creek and a small tributary. Magisterial Districts 4 and 6 also meet. Continue on a straight line in the westerly direction approximately 4,300 feet to an area just north of Hensley Road, then another straight line southwesterly to the intersection of the Little Kentucky River. Thence northwest following the Little Kentucky River to the intersection of 1861 Sunnyside Road. Thence continue on Kentucky 1861 south to the Smithfield limits, following north side of the city boundary, Kentucky 1861 Smithfield. Thence to the Oldham-Henry County boundary. Following the Oldham-Henry County boundary north back to the beginning where US 42 Brownsboro Road intersects the county boundary. Section number 4. Magisterial District number 3 shall consist of the following, beginning at Kentucky 3175 Sulphur Bedford Road at the Henry-Trimble County line, following the county boundary northeast, thence east and south, following River Road to the intersection with Gullion Branch Road, thence south on Gullion Branch Road to the junction with Vance Road, then southeast on Vance Road to the intersection on Highway 193 Port Royal Road, following south on Highway 193 Port Royal Road to the intersection with Emily Run, thence west following an unnamed creek to its approximately 7,200 feet from the intersection with Emily Run, continuing northwest in a straight line approximately 1,300 feet to a small unnamed pond that serves as another for an unnamed creek to a southwest along the creek and Skidmore Lane for approximately 2.9 miles until turning south for approximately 575 feet to the intersection of White Sulphur Fork to White Sulphur Creek approximately 1.5 miles, leaving White Sulphur Creek in a northwesterly direction to the southbound lanes of I-71, thence following I-71 southbound lanes to Highway 1606 Fallen Timber Road, thence northeast along Highway 1606 to the intersection of Eddy Road, thence south along Eddy Road to the intersection of PC Lane, then south for PC Lane for approximately 170 feet to the CSX rail line, then southwest along the CSX tracks approximately 6,800 feet to the intersection with an unnamed creek. Following this creek west approximately 2,100 feet to its intersection with Wooded Hill Road, then southwest along this road until the intersection Highway 153 Pendleton Road, thence north along Highway 153 until the intersection with Brownsboro Road, then southwest along Brownsboro Road with the intersection of the Henry County, Oldham County line, thence following the county line to its junction with the Henry-Trimble County line, and following its boundary back to the Kentucky 3175 Sulphur Bedford Road and the Henry-Trimble County line. Section 5. Magisterial District number 4 consisting of the following. Beginning of the junction of Kentucky 146 LaGrange Road and Kentucky 153 Pendleton Road, and following Kentucky 146 east to the Little Kentucky River, thence north along the Little Kentucky River to the intersection of the bound lanes of I-71, thence north along the southbound lanes, approximately 3 miles to the White Sulphur Fork Creek. Then follow the White Sulphur Fork Creek approximately an area of 300 feet southwest of the intersection of Brownsboro Road and Hearn Creek Road. Thence in a northeasterly direction, crossing Hillsboro Road to a small tributary and following small tributary east, approximately 8,500 feet to Skidmore Lane. Following Skidmore Lane east into the intersection of US 421 Camelsburg Road, then crossing US 421 in the northeasterly direction approximately 1 mile, then southeasterly approximately 2 miles in the intersection of Kentucky 193 Port Royal Road. Thence following Kentucky 193 south to Batts Lane, then thence southeast following Batts to Drennan. Then southwest on Drennan Road, passing Mount Gilead Road, approximately 2,700 feet to a small tributary south, and crossing Flat Rock Road to the intersection of Town Creek. Continue southeasterly on Town Creek to Power Line Cut, then southwesterly to the intersection of Kentucky 573 on South Property Road. Southeast following South Property to Russell Branch Road, Kentucky 3322 Point Pleasant Road. Then south following Point Pleasant Road, US 421 Castle Highway, northwest to US 421 Castle Highway, approximately 2.7 miles. Then southwesterly, approximately 2,700 feet to the Kentucky 55 Eminence Road. Following Kentucky 55 north, approximately 1,000 feet to the intersection of Town Creek. Thence west, Kentucky 3323 Jackson Road, thence crossing Jackson Road and following a small tributary westward to Jackson Creek. Continue following Jackson Creek northwesterly to Hyatt Lane, then southwest on Hyatt Lane, thence north, then west on Bates Lane and the southwestern bank of Lake Jericho. Thence follow the western bank of Lake Jericho northerly, approximately 3,300 feet, thence west intersecting Kentucky 153 Lake Jericho Road. Follow Kentucky 153 north back to the beginning of the junction of Kentucky 146 LaGrange Road and Kentucky 153 Pendleton Road. Section 6. Magisterial District Number 5 shall consist of the following. Beginning at the intersection of Henry, Owen, and Carroll counties, following the Kentucky River, bisecting down the middle upstream until the mouth of Flat Creek, thence following Flat Creek upstream until the intersection with the Franklin County line, then following northwest along Henry County boundary, then southwest until the intersection of Guest Road, thence north along Guest Road until the intersection of the Little 6 Mile Creek, thence west and north along Little 6 Mile Creek until the intersection with Woods Pike, thence north along Woods Pike until the intersection with the Salt River. Following the Salt River in a westerly direction until the intersection with Bonus Fork, thence south, west, and west along Bonus Fork, approximately 2.5 miles. Thence northwest for approximately 130 feet to meet Bonus Fork Road, thence northwest along Bonus Fork Road to Highway 22 Bethlehem Road, then north along Highway 22 until the intersection with South Property Road, thence northwest along South Property until the intersection with Sweeney Lane, thence again west along Sweeney Lane until the intersection with Watkins Lane, thence northwest along Watkins Lane until the intersection with Bush Lane, thence north along Bush Lane approximately 0.5 miles until it crosses an unnamed creek, then north along this creek until its intersection with Drennan Creek. Following Drennan Creek west to the intersection with the Point Pleasant Road, thence along Point Pleasant Road until the intersection of Russell Branch Road. Thence north along Russell Branch Road until the intersection with Highway 573 South Property Road. Thence west along Highway 573 approximately 1.1 miles until the intersection with an unnamed creek. Following this creek in a northeasterly direction until its intersection with Town Creek. Thence west approximately 1 mile until its intersection with an unnamed creek. Thence north along this creek until its intersection with Drennan Road. Following Drennan Road east until the intersection with Bats Lane. Thence northwest along Bats Lane until the intersection with Highway 193 Port Royal Road. Thence along Highway 193 with the intersection with Vance Road. Thence northwest along Vance Road into the junction of Gullion Branch Road. Then north along Gullion Branch Road until the intersection with River Road. Thence north along River Road until the intersection of the Henry County line. Then east until beginning at the intersection of Henry, Owen, and Carroll counties. Section 7. Magisterial District Number 6 shall consist of the following. Beginning at the intersection of Kentucky 55 Eminence Pike and Henry Shelby County boundary, following Kentucky 55 north, then east on Mulberry Pike around private property at the corner of Mulberry Pike and Spring Hill Estate Circle. Then following the city boundary to Shawnee Industrial Road, continuing along the city boundary to Elm Street. Then following Elm Street west, back to Kentucky 55 North Main Street, continue following Kentucky 55 north to the city boundary. Thence follow the city boundary in a westerly direction to an area just west of Jackson Road, leaving the city boundary and continuing west along Jackson Road and leaving Jackson Road at a point approximately 300 feet north of Sand Springs Road. Thence in a southwesterly direction, approximately 5,300 feet, thence north approximately 4,400 feet, thence crossing Jackson Creek and continuing northeast along a small tributary to the intersection of Jackson Road. Thence a straight line east approximately 2 miles to the intersection of Kentucky 55 Eminence Road. Thence south on Eminence Road approximately 1,000 feet to a private farm driveway. thence northeast approximately 2,700 feet to the intersection of US 421 Castle Highway. Thence following US 421 south, the intersection of Elm Street and Kentucky 3322 Point Pleasant Road, thence northeast on Kentucky 3322 and leaving Kentucky 3322 near 100 Acre Lane, and following a small tributary northeast to the intersection of Drennan Creek. Thence following Drennan Creek northeast to an area just southeast of Foxtail Ridge Road and leaving Drennan Creek, and following a small tributary south and intersecting Bush Lane. Thence following Bush Lane south to the intersection of Watkins Lane. Then following Watkins Lane east to Sweeney Lane. Thence northeast along Sweeney Lane to the intersection of Kentucky 573 South Property Road. Thence south along Kentucky 573 following Kentucky 22 Bethlehem Road. Thence following Kentucky 22 south and southeast along Bonus Fork Road. Thence Bonus Fork Creek eastward to the intersection of Kentucky 573 Woods Pike. Thence following Kentucky 573 southeast to the Little 6 Mile Creek, then along Little 6 Mile Creek south and east to Kentucky 561 Guest Road. Thence Guest Road to the Franklin-Henry County line, thence following the county boundary west and back to the beginning of the intersection Kentucky 55, Eminence Pike, Shelby, Henry County boundary. Section number 8, attached here to will be your map, which is titled Exhibit A of the reapportionment districts of Henry County, Kentucky, as particularly described above.
Could you read that again? Cassidy, I think they're clapping because you did that, not me. 'Cause Travis said if I had to read it, we'd have to order pizza.
Somebody give Nancy a drink.
Thank you, but that is all the boundaries. Of course, you all got the maps to look at. And I think everybody was in agreement on the first reading. Nothing's changed other than, like Roger, his request was to move it down to the Little Kentucky River there versus the up at the crossroads, and that didn't change anything as far as population. So I think it's what everybody wanted anyway. So we need to make a motion to pass that.
I'll make a motion. Pass.
All right.
We have to vote, like, yeah, how many yeas, how many nays?
You do.
But we're getting ready to tell you. We voting, Shannon.
All right, got my flip-flops on. Ready?
Quiet, Ed. So how's it is?
All right, all in favor?
Is that how you do it?
All right, we got unanimous, Shanda, so it ain't hard to vote that way.
Yeah, we don't have to read this again. Right?
That's right. And thank you all, I know Jacob's the only one here that was besides Shanda, but
Paul and Steve couldn't be here.
yeah, Paul and Steve, they couldn't be here, but thank you all for your time, and I know it's a lot of work to get this right, but I think they take their job serious, and I think they've done a good job, so thank you.
Thank you to Miss Denise Perry for organizing this.
Thank you for Cassidy for reading that, because we'd have been here, we would still be here in the morning if I had to read that much.
All right, thank you very much. Good.
Thank you. All right, our 2023 tax rates. Our real property last year was 11.2. Compensating rate this year we got from the state is 10.5. If we take 4%, which we can legally take without any recall or anything, that puts it at 10.9. The increase would put us a total of, if we take the compensating rate, it would put us at $40,834 total more with all of it. Or if we take the 4%, it'd put us at $91,000 on the 4%, $50,000 difference. The personal property this past year was 15.9. Compensating rate is 13.1. With 4% would be 13.6. motor vehicle, that we usually just leave those alone, that's 11.9, and watercraft's 11.9, so what's your pleasure? This is one of those years when you can cut the tax rate and still, put the 4% on, or we can go with the compensating rate. It's totally up to you guys.
I'd like to make a motion with the instructions being done, with inflation hitting everybody, we go with recommended 10.5.
All right. Got a motion, get a second? Second by Brad, okay, any further questions, or? All right, all in favor? All right, motion carries, we go with the compensating rate.
Is that for each one, or just for the personal?
For the.
It'd be for each. Personal property would be 13.1. I mean, yeah, it'd be for all.
10.5 and 13.1,
Mhm.
and then 11.9.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Okay, thank you all. All right, we need to do a budget amendment already, for the opioid money that, we wasn't sure what we could do with the opioid money, and some of us we're still not sure about what we can do, but so we didn't have it in the budget, and we need to put it in the budget itself, to be able to expend any of it. Some of it, I think we can put to Tri-County for some opioid prevention, and that's about the only thing that we can find that we can legally do with it, because it's a settlement, and not something that the state come up with, so the ruling's a whole lot more strict, and I don't know that it's gonna change. I would say it's gonna stay where it's at, because it's court settlement, so we may have some of this money for a while till we get it all spent, but it's an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the county of Henry has received unbudgeted revenues from the opioid settlement, but be it ordained by fiscal court of County of Henry, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, the budget fiscal year 2023-24 is amended to, and we're adding we've took in $109,834.89. So we'll put that in the general, and then we can put it where we can pay it out on whenever we find something we can spend it on. But we have to get it before we can receive the money, but we can't expend it without it being in the budget. So we need to make a budget.
Make a motion to put it in the general fund.
All right.
Hang on a second, because it's going to put it in the general fund, and then it's going to transfer it into its own fund of Fund 75.
Yes, sir.
And then the money will be held there separate from the general fund.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Motion by Danny, second by Brad. All in favor? All right, motion carried. Okay, the monthly magistrate packets. We're having a hard time with the mail. Brad, did yours ever come in? Did he come today? We sent those Thursday. And when did everybody else get theirs?
I usually get mine on Saturday before, mine was consistent.
Yesterday? When did you get yours? It's just all over the place. But what I'm wondering, would it be better for everyone if we scan that and send it to you with the email, so you can go ahead and have it ahead of time, or do you want to just keep sending it? I mean, it'll save us probably $8 a packet.
It depends how much stuff's in it. Like, I didn't put the budget. I included in your packets today the individual budget, but it wasn't anything you needed before this meeting. It's just the yearly budget if you wanted to look, but it depends how thick it is. I think this one was a couple dollars, but it has gotten up to $8 a packet.
As far as mailing cost?
Mm-hmm.
Per budget.
Well, mailing costs, and then, like Brad didn't even get his today, so it was kind of a waste even sending him one.
What days do y'all usually have them ready?
Thursdays when we send those out. They go out in the mail on
It's
Thursday.
more convenient for we can stop by and pick them up, or I can.
Well, if you're in Newcastle, that's okay, but
Well, I'm okay with scanning and emailing it, as long as we get the right copy.
we can,
I kinda like to stay the way it is.
You wanna just leave it like it is?
It's scanning an email and, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable for the last 10 years of getting it like this, so I guess change is a little tough on me.
So we got everything suggested here, so what y'all wanna do? It doesn't matter to me. We know what's on there by Wednesday.
I just don't get the paper copy, no way to throw it, printing out or nothing.
All right, does everybody want paper copy then?
I'll agree with whatever.
Okay, we'll just keep sending it out like it is.
Do you want us to try to send it out a day or two earlier? It may not have that last minute stuff in there though.
That's the
the
worst
problem.
thing. If we go too early, we're gonna get, there's a lot of stuff does happen later in the week. I mean, ever since I've been on fiscal court, they've sent them out on Thursday.
If you get additional information, could you go ahead and email that then, scan it and email it, put that as a.
Yeah, and I mean it would be printed out if it's something that y'all need to make a decision on or something. And then I mean it would be printed out for your meeting, you know, when you arrive for the meeting.
Do you think Travis can deliver them?
Maybe planning and zoning can do that while
Well, anyway, I'm like-
All right, we just keep sending them, and then if we do have something last minute, we can email it. Okay, claims and transfers. Motion by Brad, second by Kevin. All in favor? All right, motion carried. Okay, public comment, 3 minutes per speaker.
You missed one.
What did I miss?
The lease thing, or is it, you'll take it off?
The what?
Fairground
Lions Club leagues.
till next month.
It's not ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we gotta do it next year. I mean, next month, I'm sorry.
Next year.
Yeah, we gotta do it, because there was still some stuff that,
Okay,
it got pretty, the water got pretty muddy on that, Brad.
I'll shut up then.
Okay, public comment. Ed.
After you, sir. After you, sir.
Oh, he'll talk a long time. You probably better go ahead.
Well, I won't talk long. Hi, folks. I want to introduce myself. Thank you, Judge, Magistrates. What I got to say up here is more about you and less about me, but thank you for letting me come tonight here and start seeing me here more often. I'm a candidate for state senate, Edward G. Gowron III, and I know my family was in Harmony, Kentucky for over 100 years. But something I want to share with you because it connected to what's going on right here, because I want to talk about y'all, not about me. What I'm interested in doing is advancing conservative rights and protect parent values. Cut taxes and regulations, but that's got to be modulated still to keep the good of the people in mind, because there are taxes we need, the spending needs to be right though. To grow our economy in the district and the state. My first 2 degrees are in agriculture, which didn't teach me anything about putting a crop out. It taught me the business side of it from Murray State, undergrad and master's in agriculture. Partner with our parents and teachers to ensure our children receive a world-class education. I actually am a teacher, a certified post-secondary instructor. I was an instructor at one of our war colleges before I retired from the Navy. Fight crime, protect the Second Amendment, support law enforcement, first responders, and veterans. The point is, the broad contours of what I'm interested in supporting is tangential to everything you're doing here. I want to commend y'all for what you're doing here tonight. I've been all over the world for 30 years as a Navy SEAL officer, career officer. If this was in a lot of other foreign countries, you'd be getting bombed, rocketed, harassed. So I commend you for what you're doing. You are the closest elected officials to the people. I got that right? You've got your finger on the pulse, and that would be an understatement. And I'm looking to be a champion and partner for you, because my observation is Henry County, Shelby County, and Anderson County, we're the flyover drive-by counties, aren't we? Folks going to Lexington, Louisville, taking us for granted, and so forth and so on. Needs to be a champion over there. Promise you, I'm not going over to win the insult contest. I'm going to build relationships and get results for this district. So I want to thank y'all for what you're doing here. Y'all coming out here tonight and being a part of this. This is the fabric of we the people of America that folks have spilled their blood for and have defended for what you got going on right here. So thank you for doing that. I look forward to talking to you more, introducing myself to you. By all means, ask me anything you'd like to know, but I'll stop at this juncture with a final thank you. All right, folks, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I do appreciate that. 30-year Navy SEAL officer, you bury a lot of guys that don't come back.
Ed, you done had your
Oh,
3 minutes. I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to be rude,
No,
but,
thank you.
but really.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Hugh, you only got 3 too now.
Okay, I got 3, no problem. How much was the opioid settlement? Is that a one-time deal?
109,000, and I think we got probably a little bit more coming in.
The total, do you remember the years? There's several years. It's around.
It's about 20 years.
But it's a whole lot smaller after that first
Right,
one.
and there are still settlements being reached. So there's like Johnson & Johnson, and then there's the Big 5, and then there's another one that's in the works. So we don't have a definite on that, but it's gonna amount to a good deal of money over about 20 years.
Okay, so, and you can only spend this for what?
If-
Who set how you can spend it?
Want me to address that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I did the training on that. It was set in the settlements. It through all the national court cases that tried this, all the different states that joined to do this, in all the different districts. And it's determined in the settlement. 70% of the money has to be paid from here forward, and it's almost all for treatment and prevention. And you know, we had talked at earlier times about maybe reimbursing the county for some things, but it's written that can't happen. There's some options maybe for some of the things through the sheriff's department, but it's very closely tied. And they told us that it would not be changed because it was part of the legal settlement.
You know, when they first started talking about the opioid settlement, talking about how you can take that money and maybe put it toward the ambulance funds and things like that.
Can't do it.
Can't do
They
it.
can't do it. Or, you know, the sheriff's department for prevention.
Well, you could do it with the sheriff's department, but it would have to be somebody that was totally earmarked completely for prevention or treatment. I mean, and even like jail costs, that was talked about. Can't be used to house inmates, could be used for treatment for inmates while they're being housed. So, you know, it becomes a nightmare to try to ferret out what it could be. And the guidance that we got was, you're better off not even going down that path.
Okay, well,
We can buy an ambulance with it, but the only runs that ambulance can make is the opioid runs. If they get out there and it's not an opioid run, they gotta get a different ambulance. I mean, that's how silly it is.
It's unreal, isn't it?
So,
Or fine government or worse.
yeah.
I didn't quite understand the tax, with the compensatory, I didn't understand any of that at all. So are taxes going up or are taxes going down? Or is it
Down.
They're doing down. So when the rate goes down, it doesn't go up someplace else. Okay,
No way.
all right.
Hey,
Thank you.
Judge, for clarification on the restriction on the ambulance, is that the state doing that to y'all, or who's it doing, the federal?
No,
It's the
it's part of the
court.
federal court
The
settlements.
federal court,
Mhm.
I see. So the state can't help y'all?
yes, sir.
Speaking of ambulances, about a month ago, my wife fell and broke her hip. We called 911. She laid in the ground for 50 minutes before an ambulance got to our house. We live out of Allen for County Bottom Road, which is the southeast part of the county. Is there any chance to get any type of an ambulance service closer to our area? 50 minutes, she laid there 50 minutes in the hot sun before an ambulance got there. My brother-in-law was here with me, he testified. And that's, if it had been something more serious to the broken hip, she would have, you know, if it had been a heart issue or something, she would have died.
That is a bad thing for that side of the county, is it's so far to get to LeCount's Bottom. It's probably faster to go to Frankfurt than it is to
It
Newcastle.
would have been, and that's where we convinced them to take her to, when she fell. They wanted to bring her to, Shelbyville,
Mhm.
Range, I forgot what she was.
Yes, sir.
To add to his problem, you had a state trooper about 2 weeks ago, had stroke-like symptoms in the ambulance, and when there was an ambulance available for him. he actually had, Stevie Lucas got there, said he needs to get to the hospital. And actually had two more state troopers came and took this man towards the hospital. They met the Oldham County ambulance. So it's not just Lecomp's Bible, it happened in Inverness, Kentucky.
And that is true, Carl, but that ambulance was probably out somewhere else when that happened.
What do we do to fix that, Carl?
Well, we can raise taxes and put more ambulances.
Stroke-like symptoms, so.
In our case, the ambulance was out on for fatality on 71, and they had to send an ambulance from Crestwood to the
From
hospital
Oldham County.
50 minutes.
Yes, sir. Usually that would,
I don't like taxes, but I wouldn't pay extra tax money if that's what it takes to get an ambulance to cover the eastern part of our county. We got a lot of people out there who use,
if I take a show of hands of how many wants to raise taxes here. I had some say we don't even need ambulances whenever we talk about putting the ambulance taxing district in. I definitely disagree with that. We need ambulances, and I wish we could put one in every city. I will say that, but right now the funding's not there. It's just like 24/7 for the sheriff. The funding's just not there. But I'm not against any suggestions or, you know, I'm here to listen, but it does cost a lot of money.
what about possible relocation of where the ambulance is parked? Move it a little closer to the eastern side of the county.
Yes, sir. That seems like a good thing, but if you don't have anybody to get in that ambulance, then they're gonna have to drive from somewhere else to get to that part of the county anyway. So that's what we've run into. We did have an ambulance in Campbellsburg, Eminence, and here in Pleasureville, but we found out that we couldn't find the help to put in all of them. Used to, we had all volunteers, and the volunteers have all went to work or died off, and so that's a good idea. I don't know how we can come to that, but I'm not opposed to that. So I appreciate you coming and presenting that. I know if you're over there waiting on an ambulance, it's serious.
Like I say, if it broke hips one thing, if it'd been a heart issue, we've been buried.
Well, I know Brad's dealt with some things, a wreck right in front of his house down there where they had to wait a long time on it.
15 minutes.
So we know it's there. We're just trying to figure out how we can. And some of it, I will say, has been dispatch issues. Our dispatchers don't know our territory and that kind of thing right now. They say the state police say they were correcting that. They promised me it'd be corrected by October, but hopefully it is.
Yeah, I got one more minute for one more issue. I know federal money gave each state infrastructure money for high-speed internet. Any plans whatsoever running any out in that area of the country, county, or that area of the county already got a satellite?
Well,
Go ahead.
you can go ahead, Brad.
I know, a couple of people over on Flat Creek have Spectrum has been over there surveying.
Yeah, we've seen them out on.
Yeah, they told one lady over there, Kathy Burhay, that,
I contacted Spectrum and they said they have no plans of going out that way.
well, that's not what they told her. Said probably 6 months. I'll check.
I would think
I
that.
gave them our address to Compton
Right.
Bog, and they said
Right.
they have no plans to do the Compton Bog.
Was Lecomp's bottom not in that $600 million thing?
I don't know. I thought it.
Should be on the river. I mean, that's what that one grant was.
Yeah. I would think it would be, cause that was 17 million for 643 homes is what it was. So I'm hoping that you're gonna get it, but apparently you've talked to somebody that says you're not.
Well, Spectrum, I gave them the address and they said they have no plans whatsoever.
Well, I live on Jackson Road. I don't have it either, so don't feel bad. But I'm not sure that Codex or even Broadlink, can you not get neither one of those?
All we can get is Usenet and ViaStar, and both of them are just.
Yes, yeah.
One lady called Broadlink, goes, right there on Black Creek.
Well, Smitty's has got it.
Pretty much right straight across from Monterey, you would think,
Yeah.
but they said they wasn't interested.
Huh.
Can you see a water tower in there?
Probably.
Maybe contact the Codex.
Say again?
Codex, that is a local,
They're putting their receivers on top of every water
local
tower.
company that's offering, wireless
Codex.
internet. You can call, Johnny Dolph, the county supporting,
I'll give you his number if you want it. I say I'll give you his phone number after the meeting.
Hey, I got a little question about the ambulance. When you call them, do they give you an estimated time or anything like that? Because if somebody knows they're gonna be laying there an hour with a stroke, I'm gonna drag them in a car and take them. You know,
I really can't answer that question.
I don't know.
They don't give me any time, and my wife, I couldn't tell her in the car.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah, they're in pain.
I realize that.
Actually, a year or so, 2 years ago, my sister, lives right next door, she had a heart issue. And we made the decision to drive her to wait for an ambulance. Unfortunately, we got her to the hospital, she didn't have any issues.
Jacob?
I'll make this real brief. Just to wrap it up from the Harvey Showcase, I just wanted to give a public thank you to Toby and Bobby and Travis and all of our Parks Department. They put in several hours out here at the fairgrounds. I also want to thank Kenny and Bones and the road department. They did a lot of work, extra gravel in our parking lot just to kind of spruce everything up. And I want to thank Judge Bates for being out here all day, the day before, helping set up. So I just really appreciate the county's effort in making that a great day. Not to really get into the too many issues, but I just do want to remind everyone, especially our fiscal court members, because I know you all have been tagging some comments on social media, that the Harvest Showcase was created 23 years ago to support small local farmers. And we're talking about family farms who that's their living. You know, when you think about Barbara Gregory and Glenn and Viola Shaw, I mean, these are people that depend on their livelihood. And so that's what the Harvest Showcase is all about. The Harvest Showcase is not affiliated with the Henry County Chamber of Commerce or the county government. It's a separate entity. And then finally, I just want to remind everybody that the Harvest Showcase Committee is also not financially driven. We raise a set amount of money to put the event on. We spend 100% of that money, and we start over the next year. So, but if anyone in the crowd has any questions, or if anyone on the court has any questions about a particular situation, or in general, I'll be happy to speak with you about those one-on-one. But again, I do want to thank the county for all of their assistance in making it a great day.
It was a good day. It was a hot day, but it was how many do you, I mean, I've heard from 3,000 to 4,000, but.
You know, I think personally this year, our with the heat, the crowd did kind of slack off in the afternoon. I think we probably hit 3,000, but it's hard to guesstimate, but we did have a great crowd.
It was a good crowd. And thank everybody for the time and effort that they put into making that happen.
You
All
think
right.
you're getting an inflatable gorilla to put on Sunny Side, Scotty?
We got the gorilla caught. I don't know how it happened. That gorilla come up on that sign, but me and Marianne had already seen that. I come to the fiscal court building to water my flowers Sunday. Marianne said, that said something about a gorilla ahead. So I don't know how it took place, but the gorilla got caught, I guess. But all right, we'll take a motion to adjourn. Somebody wants
You
to
got
make
court
it.
comments? Any court comments?
Oh, any court comments? I'm sorry.
Scott, just to let all the matches know, I'll be on vacation from the 15th of September through the 25th, so I believe the next fiscal court meeting falls in under that, but I will not be here.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, y'all make a motion.
No, we need to adjourn. We still need to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?